Try to imagine all life as you know it stopping instantaneously and every molecule in your body exploding at the speed of light.
Total protonic reversal.
Protonic reversal.
Protonic reversal with your host, Conan Neutron. Broadcasting from a secret underground lair in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
A gigantic middle finger to everything that is rotten about music, rock and roll, and corporate power.
The thing is, though, if you don't laugh, you're going to go on a killing spree with sharpened nails.
Confidence of a hero or a fool. I wasn't exactly certain which.
Could not be more professional.
It means something. It means something.
You know, that's my take on it. What's yours?
Protonic reversal.
That's like a science thing, right?
Indeed it is. It is a science thing. It's a science place. It is a scientific fact that we're all up in your face this time once again for the one, the only Protonic Reversal. Welcome to it. Welcome to it. Welcome to it. This is the second and last episode for June, apparently. I'm taking it easy. And by taking it easy, I mean doing an entire tour as a guest player with the band Dead in Australia. And that was a great time. That was a great time. So anybody that came out to those shows, I probably talked to you and or gave you a sticker for this very show. If you didn't, it was a weird routing, and I was just there to drive, look pretty, and play some licks. So I accomplished at least two of those things. And yeah, that was great. Love those guys. Obviously, I love them. Wearing the shirt, et cetera, et cetera. But that is not what is happening right now. Right now is episode 390, of course, and we're going to get into it. I've got Kip and Matt from the Red Scare. Going to talk to them in just a second. Just a second, minute. You know, it's like someone says just a second. It's like 20 minutes. Like, Jesus Christ, you said just a second. Before we do any of that, welcome to Conan Neutron's Protonic Reversal. I am your host, Conan Neutron. I'm a rock and roll lifer who has been touring and recording for 24 years now. Most known for the band Conan Neutron and the Secret Friends. Music is a huge part of my life, and I use the format of this very long-running podcast to talk about music with musicians whose work I enjoy and respect, but who may not be household names. This is episode 390. Now, if this is your first time listening to the show, archives of it are available for free. No ads, no sponsors, no kidding, at protonicversal.com. However, if you want to support the show and get episodes sooner, $1 a month at patreon.com/protonicversal will achieve that goal. If you like the show, or even just a single episode, please feel free to like, subscribe on your platform of choice, share it around the internet, and even leave a review. All of that helps people discover the show, beats back the almighty algorithmic overlords, which is a darn nice thing to do. So cool. The Red Scare is a band that is back, Pride in Knoxville. And I'm very excited today, tonight, tomorrow, yesterday. Time is a flat circle, people. To talk to Kip and Matt. And I was just reminiscing, just remembering when the last time I talked to Matt with, of course, also was New Brutalism of Structures. And we did figure it out eventually, so that's good. But I'm very excited to have them on because not only is the Red Scare back, there's a really awesome, solid Brass Records reissue, celebration of this very influential and cool band. And so I'm going to go ahead and just bring Kip and Matt on right now. Fellas, thanks so much for being on the show. Appreciate you.
Sure thing, man.
Thanks for having us.
Matt, we decided it was Shellac and Roses in San Francisco,
yeah,
right?
That was it.
When I saw you last, which was pretty good. Pretty goddamn
8
good.
years ago.
Yeah.
You look good.
Thanks. Yeah, likewise. You don't look like a leprechaun at all. I don't know.
I look better the further away I get.
I want to say right off the bat that I'm offended by not being a household name.
Yeah, you're
Really?
not
It's a cheap shot.
household name shaming.
May not. I don't know. I'm not definitively
That's right.
stating anything.
That's
Maybe you
Hey,
are.
people have been talking about the Red Scare for a long time.
There's people that definitely are, and I've definitely modified that language when I was like, oh, I better not offend them, But
Yeah, we have
Right.
it's a really great
Very
choice of
easily
band names.
But what household? I mean, like I grew up in a rock and roll household, right? So like, my parents saw the Ramones in Winterland and like,
That's sick.
Alice Cooper band, like Deep
Sweet.
Purple and stuff. Yeah. I mean, like I grew up around great rock and roll records, but I know people that like just, who, what's that? Who, where like, it's like, all right. I don't know. You have no frame of reference. This conversation. It's like talking to like a coworker at a job or something where they just have no frame of reference of any kind. Right.
Yeah. Well, we live in the South, so we're immersed in that at every possible moment.
There's a lot that we're immersed in.
Well, and I always find that kind of interesting, and especially as someone. So I live in Milwaukee now, but I'm from Oakland, California. But I grew up in an area of California that has way more in common, like Nebraska, than like Los Angeles or San Francisco. Like it's very much redneck central.
Where's that?
Modesto, California.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Heart of the Central Valley. Yeah, and I cannot overstate how important it was for me to kind of find my people through music. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
And I remember I heard about you guys, and the you guys in this case being the Red Scare, of course. Years before I actually heard you, because that's back when you couldn't just like fire up like, oh yeah, let me just there it is. Oh, they sound like this. Okay, I was like, the Red Scare. That's a tough sounding name. Hell yeah, that's awesome. I bet they sound great. And then 3 years later, I actually heard you. I was like, oh, they sound good. Yeah, but it came. You guys came about in that time period where basically, unless you had a knowledge holder, a cool, guide. Pat tour guide, sure, for cool, weird music or whatever, or they saw a show, they wouldn't necessarily know anything about your band.
Yeah.
And it seems obvious for us, but I bring it up because there's a lot of younger listeners of the show where it's like I just can't overstate how different it is now. Where even just like a Bandcamp release of like, oh, there's a bunch of Red Scare stuff, including some like cool live recordings and things along those lines. It's awesome. It's a treasure, and it's something that like you could not even foresee in 1997.
Yeah, and you nailed it. I mean, you didn't. I can't think of a single band that I durably listened to that I didn't find out about it from a friend of a friend who knew a guy who saw a show. It was just all word of mouth back then.
Yeah,
and there was something also about like these are our bands. I remember when I was in high school. Shout out to my buddy Sean Parrish if he's listening. This new guy's in high school in 8th grade or 9th grade. I don't remember. I'm wearing my seaweed shirt. He's wearing his seaweed shirt, and we see each other. And I'm like, somebody who likes seaweed. And yes, I'm not embarrassed to say that I listen to seaweed. And
you either have to be best friends or worst enemies, and there's nothing in between.
At first he kind of snubbed me as like, I'm the one who knows seaweed. But we, eventually we're kind of like, oh, wow, you like this weird stuff too. And the five of us sat at the same table at lunch for the next 3 years.
Yeah, he had to check your seaweed license.
Had to check your seaweed. He taught me about that. I taught him about tar. It was good.
Yeah,
we had a good time.
So how did it all come to pass? How did the Red Scare originally come to pass? Because again, you guys were at it a little before me. So again, I had no frame of reference for even how to be in a band, like just other than like I think you can just do it. I don't think anyone's gonna stop you.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
Which is still true, by the way, more than ever. But how did the Red Scare come to pass?
What do you want to go? You want me to go?
We'll go back and forth. I mean, I think you took it on the last time this question was asked.
Yeah.
I was playing in a bunch of bands in Knoxville. This was pre-New Brutalism. It was one of those that time where if somebody needed a drummer or a bass player or guitar player and it was some weird music, I just played. Like Soldier of Fortune.
You're like the utility infielder of
I was not special.
That's what Kip was just another run-of-the-mill guy in a band called Superstar that sounded a lot like Jawbreaker, and I love Jawbreaker. And I think you approached me at a show and we started talking, and I think the original plan was for you to join the band I was in. At the time, I think it was the Free Texas State, which is definitely not a household name. Barely a downtown Knoxville name. But you had a better idea, like, why don't we start a new band? And I don't know, it just kind of took off from there. And we didn't really have a lot of expectations. I think at that point, Adam joined and Abby joined, and we just got in a room. I don't think we sat down and said, we want to play this kind of shit. It just kind of happened. And we were all listening to such different stuff. I think Kip, you were coming from a place musically that Abby and I weren't. We had some overlap, but Abby and I were just listening to way too much Jesus at the time, so that's all we wanted to do.
Some things never change.
Yeah.
But we had overlap. I mean, I think all the Tony Joyce stuff, Universal Order, Armageddon, Moss Icon, obvious punk rock roots, Minor Threat. There was some community there. And now I pass the mic.
Well, and just real quick, you guys were always mentioned again in faraway California of like in the same breath as like the Gravity Records world and like those kinds of bands and like even though it wasn't like an exact 1-for-1 match, it was like, oh no, but if you dig this, you might also ... kind of situation.
Yeah, I feel like any of that stuff before Kip. I mean,
I feel like that's the thing that I probably wanted more was the Gravity stuff. Yeah. But I mean, those things all make sense in the same context. So
I think so.
Yeah. I thought it was really amazing. Like when I saw New Guard 843 Matt's band before the two he just mentioned, where I was really impressed because he was like, I was like, that's the best drummer ever. And when he just really was like downplaying it so much as far as like saying, oh yeah, I just started playing drums like 3 days ago, and I was like so impressed.
Well, 3 semesters.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, 3 semesters of architecture.
The story's
school.
changing.
It's like biblical time. A semester equals a day.
Yeah.
But that was also, you mentioned that band. That band, Dave, the bass player in Brutalism, was guitar in that band. He and I have been playing together since the 7th grade. And then
is that right? Dave played guitar.
Yeah, totally.
That's crazy that I forgot.
And then this girl Mel, who was awesome, who lives in Memphis now, played bass. And Eric Bliss was the guitar player, and we played in a band called Autonomy versus Shame, and he introduced me to so much shit. Stuff I'd never heard of before. So shout out to Eric if he's listening. I feel like you play in all these bands and you get introduced into this world. You thought you knew all the cool bands, and then you meet somebody who's like, no, you ever heard this stuff from California? And all of a sudden your rock vocabulary increases tremendously.
Yeah. I think
I owe him a lot.
like your punk rock concierge or whatnot. Right?
Yeah, totally. I mean, when I got out of high school, I was listening to all kinds of stuff, but I mainly just wanted to play stuff that sounded like Quicksand and Fugazi. Like those to me were like, this is the pinnacle. And then I heard Drive Like Jehu, and like, why would I ever listen to Quicksand again? And so it just, rock just keeps one-upping itself to the point that it's like these are the pillars of rock that you base everything on.
I think like Jehu was probably a touchstone for us too. I'm trying to think of some others.
That makes sense.
Definitely like Rites of Spring.
I promptly got into them 6 months after they broke up. So
hey, it's never too late.
Right.
But I made it up. I made up for many Hot Snakes shows.
They ripped.
Even first run, like first tour even, and then got to really make up for it when Jehu came back and played some shows and got to see him a couple times. That was rad. So, I
never saw him back in the day either.
Yeah.
Did you see him at all, Matt?
I saw them when they did a reunion show at Wrecking Ball in Atlanta back in 2014.
Yeah, it was
awesome.
It was first year of this show. I remember that, so that sounds right. Yeah.
Tore it. I mean, it was incredible.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Like when Kip asked me, I don't know if it's too early to say that we're playing some shows, and we're like, that was 24 years ago, dude. I don't play drums like that anymore. And then I'm like, well, Jehu did it, and they rock.
Right, Trombino pulled it off.
It's really funny.
That man's been making donuts.
Yeah,
I kept thinking about that too.
Yeah, it's like if these bands that you love and respect so much can get up there in their 50s, and hell, we're only in our late 40s to do it, then it kind of gives you some faith that you're never too old to rock. We're never too old to stop trying to rock.
Right.
I don't want to be too presumptuous.
Yeah, whoa there, cowboy. Hold on.
Right, but no, it's funny you said that, Matt, because I keep thinking about that too, even with like Jesus Lizard or Jehu or a handful of other bands that I keep trying to find encouragement from.
Yeah, the Lizard. I mean, those guys have got to be cracking their 60s, and they're releasing a new album and going on tour.
Sure.
Yeah.
Awesome, and they sound good. They look good.
Sound great. Yeah, they're doing
they
well.
Refined. They're like aged like a nice leather. Yal's voice.
They're like the Led Zeppelin of our age.
That's a good way to put it.
Like it's like their influence. Like I can't stand most bands influenced by them, but I love them.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a really good way to describe Zeppelin too. Like, what Zeppelin spin-off band are you really into?
Right, exactly. I'll give you the first couple Aerosmith records, and that's probably about it.
Well put.
Matt, did you have a Drive Like Jehu sticker on your Monte? What kind of car did you have?
It was a
Gran Torino
1986 Toyota Corolla FX hatchback.
Nice.
Oh, I'm talking about the Gran Torino. Oh, you flipped the.
I flipped that car.
That's right. And then. Okay.
Totally Fast and Furious style, Tokyo Drift.
Wait,
That's right.
You flipped it like you sold it for a profit, or you flipped it like? Okay.
In architecture school, you don't sleep, and you think, "Oh, I can drive home for the weekend." And I was driving down the road, I think, probably listening to Jehu, and I fell asleep, and I just went like this, and I rolled over in a ditch, going like 15 miles an hour, like boop. It was the most anticlimactic car flip of all time.
It's a slow motion accident, yeah.
And then I got that Gran Torino, and I didn't put any stickers on that one.
I don't know what would have. Okay, I got false memory.
It was 27 years ago.
Maybe I just combined a couple things. I think I combined a couple things.
Yeah, that's what old people do.
This is how you make a myth.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know what happened anymore. I'm just, making it up as I go.
No one else does either. It's fine. There wasn't Instagram and Facebook back then, so it's
Yeah, you can't look back on the scrapbook of your memories. I mean, thankfully,
this one time Kip was wrestling a bear. It was crazy. What?
That was
that
true.
Didn't happen.
Yeah, it's called a Ampeg 810.
AKA the bear. We called it the bear. That was the name of the cabinet.
Yeah,
such was the style of his time. What's it like revisiting this material? Because this is Red Scare's always been great, but it's very much as mentioned, like what we think of when we hear aggressive music like that is, oh, that's young person music, right? That's music you buy and for young people. Yeah, we're also like at the time period where whatever, like how many victory laps do we see the classic punk rock bands doing, and like Keith Morris is still catching air at 95 or whatever he is at this point, and good for him, good on him. I remember I saw the MC50 with Wayne Kramer, obviously R.I.P. But I was like, oh, he's got more energy than some 20-year-olds that I know. Like that's fantastic. But that said, this is physical music. There's a physicality to it.
Yeah.
So it's one thing to kind of comb through the archives and be like, hey, let's give the curatorial experience to this band whose music meant so much to us and to so many other people. And it's another thing entirely to play it. To put it bluntly. And that comes from someone that never has stopped playing, but look, there's sometimes I'm like, you'll notice that the set list, that's a rest. That's for me to catch my breath. I may be doing something cool, but it takes no action whatsoever on my part. I'm just catching my breath.
Yeah. I think it's more intense for Matt, for sure, without a doubt, than I mean, for me, it's not super difficult just because, well, maybe the screaming a little bit, but the physicality of what Matt's doing is pretty nuts. But he's, handling it like a champ.
Oh, thanks, buddy. Well, you can't immediately compare me to my younger self, but it's a great question. And I think that I was immediately, incredibly intimidated by it because I left that behind. I loved it. It was a great time, but everything I thought about drumming for the past 24 years was totally different. Hit the drums less so you can hit them harder. More space, less complication. And it's not that I played a lot of drums, probably more like from 2006 to 2012. Like Manhandle was the last real drumming. Yeah. But if you remember that, it's like, I don't hit the drums a lot.
No, it's very much like, every hit it's like, did you ever see Rocky Balboa, the last Rocky movie? It's like that, where he's like, oh, I don't have the speed, so I'm just going to be a pile driver. And
you got it. And that's exactly it. Every shot is always a rim shot. Get that hand above your head. And if you're hitting the drums less, you can get your hand higher. Yeah. So coming back to it, at first I thought, how am I going to do that? And it was really awkward. I have to credit Kerry Bulch, our new Brutalism drummer, who's been our kind of guru. He was kind of hanging out in rehearsal, and he's like, why are you trying to drum it down? You're surrendering before you even tried it. Just relax and play it. And I think we're all finding that rather than overthinking it, because I went and I'm going to play everything slower. I'm going to simplify. I'm going to drop the fills.
we're going to sing everything an octave lower. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's like you're surrendering before you even give it a shot. And I think the music was always at the bleeding edge of our capabilities. So what's the difference? We're just doing it. You know what I mean? So I don't think we're trying to recapture something, but I think we're just trying to figure out how these aged bodies approach that music. Again, at the edge of our physical capability.
Yeah,
it's a good workout. I tell you that.
I mean, I kind of wish in a lot of ways that we had revisited it every few years or something, or at like a slower pace. But we're doing we're going through boot camp right now, so
Right,
you'll
never know the difference.
Well, but there's also, there's things you can do. I mean, like, speaking personally, like before a tour, like I always kind of like, tighten up on like, let's maybe back off the alcohol consumption and like up the time on the treadmill just to make sure your endurance is where it needs to be.
Yeah,
totally.
I got some advice from Jeff Garlock from Orchid very early on that told me that I needed to jump rope and scream, which I have not done, but I have been running a lot.
But you've thought about it, so that's almost the same thing.
Yeah, I thought about how that's my wish self.
Yeah. Well, right, exactly. Well,
just make sure you record it for an Instagram story for the rest of your
right, exactly. Yeah.
Jason, Jason told me I'm gonna have to jump rope and scream on Instagram today.
That would kill. So that would have 10,000 views in one day. I guarantee. I assure you it would. Yeah, like that would be amazing. I would be one of them, and it would be me like 1,000 times.
Yeah, and me too.
But in all seriousness, it is something where you want to honor the music, but you're not trying to do like the Tuesday Blues Bar, blues band bar version of whatever that is. Not that I'm saying you are, but like that's always the fear, right? Especially like, well, this band was really intense, and then like, oh yeah, you saw them. Yeah, it was okay.
Yeah,
it was solidly all right.
But one thing that like, so when we practiced the first time, it was like so much fun. And I think, I don't know how to really articulate this. Hopefully I do okay at it. However this shook out in terms of like however many years it took us to get together again, I feel like we are, while things are like slightly different, I feel like we're all kind of aligned in terms of what we think we can do. Does that make sense, Matt?
Yeah.
Like even though it's different, I feel like we all have found, I don't know, we didn't even really have to talk about it. It was just kind of like, okay, here's some ways we can make this even better, or like optimized for now or something.
Yeah. Well, the weird thing about being in a room after 3 weeks of playing drums by myself and being frustrated is, number one, you realize it's not all about you. So you're a little bit less critical. Right. You're actually remembering why.
You're like, I missed that fill or didn't nail that hit. Nobody cares.
It's so loud, it doesn't matter. And then you're reminded of the reason you did it in the first place. Like, I'm sure, I don't know about you guys, but did you spend a lot of time on your own playing? You were always in practice. You do it. You're doing it because you want to be in a room with these people. And no offense to the audience, but were we really trying to please the audience? We were just as intensive practice as we were at a show. I get it now because the solid brass guys rip. They put so much into this. So we don't want to let them down. I think part of it doing it is promoting the record because they've invested a lot in it. So there's a little bit of wanting to please the audience, but part of me is like, fuck it. We're kind of doing it because we enjoy doing it. And if they think we're not as good as we used to be, they're right. Yeah. And as Carrie said, the new Brutalism drummer is like, people your age that are revisiting this are just going to be happy to see you. And young people that have never heard you before have no basis for comparison. They'll be like, these guys are older than my dad, and look what they're doing. So
we got to step up our game.
It's like I teach, and I always think like I just need to know a little bit more than my students. And I think it's the same with playing.
You don't have to know everything. You just have to know
know everything.
Yeah. But don't you also learn from them? Like, I mean, I feel like so much of like even the slang we were like joking about in practice that I learned from my 12-year-old son. It's still, I mean, I don't know. You're learning some type of cultural. I don't know. But yeah, I wasn't gonna say it. But yeah.
Have you heard of that?
You're learning new stuff all the time.
No. What is that?
Apparently that's a type of music.
I thought that was like a well-known thing at this point. Yeah, it's like it became shorthand. I don't know, maybe like 15 years ago or something. We have been investigating the meaning of it, but it's like SKRAMZ.
It's a kind of jazz, I think.
Yeah, it's sunset.
You could
jazz.
be making this up just off the top of your head, and I'm like, sure.
I trust me. I wish I was making it up.
What's funny is like having never stopped touring, I feel like I get exposed to like a lot of slang and like maybe don't understand it immediately, but I hear it, but I've never heard that before.
Yeah.
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 Well, that must mean it's really cutting edge.
Exactly. It's well, if it's on this show, I assure you it isn't.
We play a kind of music you've never heard of before.
Yeah, it's called scrams. It's like it sounds like a made up like Rostabilly Skank from Red Dwarf or something. Like what? What is that?
It does.
Yeah. We're just gonna lean into it. We have a banner that goes
man.
behind us now that says scrams.
It's post scrams. It's
Hashtag.
More of a post scrams man.
Post scrams core. New wave post scrams core.
Oh my god.
I mean, it was good for a while, but this is more post scrams.
Yeah.
Hey, Matt at one time wanted to name our band Duran. Just
better name than the rest here. And come on,
It
that
is.
ages pretty well.
Why do you even have to say that? I mean, of course it is.
I think the greatest disappointment of our band is our name.
Sure.
You think so?
No, I think we could have done better, and there's so many bands called the Red Scare, and we were
Well,
pretty
I mean, look. That's a problem.
Yeah.
The other thing you could do, call your band something like Conan, Neutron, and the Secret Friends. Guarantee you no one else will name their band that, but you have a sentence-long band name, so congratulations.
That's super.
No one will
unique.
ever say it if they don't have to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I'm kidding. It's not. It's totally fine. It's just I'm like I don't remember that. I don't even know how we named the band. It didn't. I don't remember it being a big debate. We just
it's mid.
This is scary and
That's
red and communist
more
propaganda looks
old school.
badass.
I don't think so. I think it kind of evokes. I mean, for me, it was like Big Black or something. It was like, oh, the Red Scare. What's that? And then I was like, oh, it's communist.
Huh.
Okay, all right, I understand. But like, it evoked more like just sound like kind of vaguely sinister and interesting.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's an interesting perspective.
But there's
know
also
what?
like 17 bands that call themselves that now, and I don't know, whatever.
Yeah.
And there's a podcast that like people love to talk about where I'm like, it's okay, fine. Sure.
I think we were getting confused by memes for the podcast. At some point.
Yeah. People love. They love
Yeah.
discussing that podcast and that person.
What is it?
I don't know. It's some political thing. The chick from it was like on Secession. Everyone was like crazy.
Oh
about
yeah, that's
that.
where I know her from. Yeah.
Oh, which one?
She's the PR the PR person. I don't even remember.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
But
Carrie. We rewatched that like a couple weeks ago.
yeah, but she was like hung out with like Alex Jones and stuff, and like yeah.
I'm so happy his playground was
You get some
disassembled.
sweet new supplements from him.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, like I. It's the kind of thing where I aggressively avoid knowing anything about, but some things just kind of leak through anyway. But yeah, I mentioned on the movie show I'm on that I had you guys coming on, and I was like, and I made it the band, not the podcast, because it was like, because for me, I'm like, I don't know what that is. I wouldn't listen to it. I don't care about it. Like, it doesn't matter to me at all. But especially like the more online Twitter people, it's like, oh yeah, if you see a Red Scare, that's there. It's like Pavlovian response. So
Maybe that'll help record sales.
Because
that's what it's about.
It is, but it's about units.
A bunch of people who have ideas about why the frogs are gay are suddenly buying your re-release.
Hey, that sounds like a great audience. I'm totally down.
Money spends, man. Money
really
spends.
eccentric.
So tell me about Smoky Mountain High is the name of the release, right? And
yep.
It's got the thing that I think that a lot of people get really into, which is that like there's even if you have these records, there's extra, like there's the live WNYU stuff that's at the end. It's kind of like it's a nice package, like it's very artfully put together. It's very it's done with like love. It isn't just like a cash in kind of situation, right? How did this all come to pass? Was this all Solid Brass is doing? Like how did this conversation even come to be, let alone turn into action?
So like Chuck from Solid Brass got in touch with me because, and I had known him for a really long time. I think I actually originally introduced him to Matt because he was in Brutalism.
Right. Glaciers is great, by the way. His band.
Yeah.
I like them a lot.
Yeah. They are.
And
great.
hit Self-Destruct from way back in the day.
Yeah. Yeah, so we I mean it took forever. I guess Chuck got in touch with me like maybe at the end of 2022. And then, yeah, we just started slowly talking about it. And then I think that their idea was originally to reissue the 2 LPs separately. And then, I don't know, the more we talked about it, the more we decided that like the discography was like the way to go.
Yeah.
Especially once our friend Brian Roettinger signed on to do the packaging. So, yeah.
Because you want to make something cool, right? Like if you're going to do it, you want it to like not, like it's almost like a calling card for the band. So you want it to represent something that like shows the artfulness and like the love and sweat and tears, presumably, that happen within it, right? And
yeah. Yeah, I mean, it made a lot of sense. Brian was the one that released them originally on his label Handheld Heart. So or the vinyl version at least. And so like having him, like connecting those dots from the past and having him be the one that was like redoing all the packaging made a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Like just continuing the circle.
Well, it's also a great opportunity to revisit stuff. I mean, I think to repress the old records, okay, that'd be cool. Not a lot of them were pressed. But there's something nice about, okay, we're looking at it 24 years later.
Right.
Brian, who did most of the graphic design back then, gets to revisit it. We get to listen to the music. We get to think about it, think about what order it should be in, dig into all the crappy recordings and demos. And I don't know, that was kind of the fun part. I think if it were a reissue of 2 old records, we wouldn't have had to talk very much. And that's been the best.
Sure.
That's honestly been the best part it's not that we haven't had a reason to talk, but somehow in this busy world, having a project, it's kind of like rock. I'm sure you both know so many of your friends are through music.
Yeah.
We had a project.
Yes. Yeah.
We could have sat around and watched the game, but we decided to get together and make music, which was kind of a job. But having that project is, I think, what reconnected us all. I don't think it would have happened otherwise.
Yeah. And I'm like, we'll be forever grateful because of that, for sure. Yeah, that's like the nice cherry on top of it all.
Was the live stuff available in any release form before?
I don't.
Steve, the guy who recorded it up in Philly, he put it on Bandcamp on his site. Made it available.
Yeah.
So it's been. I mean, I don't know how many people have heard it.
I didn't know.
But they were great recordings for a live radio show.
That sounds pretty great.
Hell of an engineer.
Yeah. Yeah. Steve, do you know Steve Roach at all? Conan?
No, I don't think so.
He plays drums in that band Seisha now.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So that's like they're like a one ring away from me. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Somebody once said that you could play the Kevin Bacon game with me, but I'm like, I don't know about that, but maybe. I don't know.
But those live recordings too are like super educational, revisiting that stuff, because you listen to the album and like, well, that's the comfort of a studio environment produces one version of the song. But when you've been on tour for weeks and you go in to record it live, you're in a completely different place.
Yeah.
So for me, going back and revisiting how the hell did I play this shit, the live recordings were way more.
It's going to be closer to how you actually did it, of course, because you played it live. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And I mean, I feel like both of the records too, like both of our LPs are kind of like idealized just because we recorded, I think, each one of them at the end of a long tour.
Right. So you're running hot. You're running hot. You're sounding great,
Yeah. Yeah, so the live stuff probably has more accurate portrayal.
It's messier. The vocals are even more unintelligible. The drums are almost entirely improvisational. And we always had these songs too. There were a couple
it's improv. Yeah.
Where we just made
it's jazz.
songs
You wouldn't
up.
get it. Yeah.
Totally free jazz.
Yeah.
But something about too, like, I don't know, some of our favorite songs are these 2 really long instrumentals that were basically just jam sessions when the tape was running. And I think that, I don't know, I think that if we continue to do this, that's probably what we'll do.
Yeah.
It's nice to play the old stuff, but it's kind of got us excited to write new shit. We're in a completely different place.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's huge.
I don't know what's going to become of it, but
Well, sure,
Yeah.
because and if you think of like your contemporaries and whatnot, there's definitely like bands that like whatever go different ways. Like a band like Nuzzle or something. Like they went in a totally different direction. I mean, classic example. Look at Me Puppets too, right? Nobody saw that one coming. These guys smoke a lot of weed, I guess. I don't know. It's crazy. They do, by the way. Which they have a record called Too High to Die, so I don't think I'm telling tales out of school with that.
No. It's very thinly veiled.
Wait, you're saying the Meat Puppets smoke the marijuana? Yeah. But that's interesting.
Our discography is called Smoky Mountain High.
Yeah, exactly. It wasn't lost on me. No.
Yeah, because we're from Knoxville, Tennessee. Go Vols, motherfucker! Big Orange.
So, but it makes sense, right? Because if you're playing together again, then hopefully you're going to get some charge and pizzazz out of the act of making music together. So there's a natural inclination towards like, okay, well, what if we made something that wasn't this sort of archive of history kind of goal, setting the goal for like, okay, we're going to put on this show that has these songs that is for this purpose. Then, unless you become a coin operated covers act of your own band, like that's
we're the Rock-afire explosion of screamo. Is that what that's called? Rock-afire? What Rockin' Fire?
What are you talking about?
The Showbiz Pizza Band.
Is that what they're called?
Yeah. Where you
they had a name?
Yeah, the Rock-afire explosion.
I celebrate their entire catalog.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the next discography celebration.
It's the next episode of Protonic Reversal, actually. It's the entire band.
Yeah.
But I do think like
they're suing their record label for
right. They're all suing
AI.
each other too. They're incredibly litigious. You wouldn't expect.
Right.
You wouldn't think the pizza band would be this armed with lawyers, but here they are.
The Pizza Band. That was our other possible band.
That was in the short running.
Right,
the Pizza Band. That's actually a pretty good name.
The final.
There's some hipsters in Greenpoint that have a band called the Pizza Band.
There's one called the Pizza Underground where
they do the Velvet Underground songs. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Do they change the lyrics to be pizza themed? I never bothered
that's right.
listening.
They do that. Yep.
Got it in one.
All the way.
All right.
Yep.
There you go.
Speaking of bad band names, but great band. Do you know that band Diarrhea Planet?
I'll never listen to them. Never.
You have to, dude.
I won't.
You have to listen to Diarrhea Planet. I think given
never
your
happened, Jack.
sensibilities that transcend noise and pop, I think you would. I'm gonna send you a few songs.
When they eventually rebrand to anything else, then I'll listen to it.
Worst band name, worst art I've ever seen, but if it's good. I think they dared themselves to try to come up with the worst possible band name.
Well, congratulations.
Well,
you done it, kid.
Let's see how much people like
Diarrhea.
us by handicapping ourselves with the worst name ever.
Exactly.
And see if people are still into it.
Let's dare people to listen to this. Let's be kind of dicks about it. Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Actually,
good idea.
very popular.
Based on a dare.
Diarrhea Planet.
Dare you to listen to Diarrhea Planet.
So wait, what is that like? What does Diarrhea Planet sound like? Just ballpark.
It's rock music. It's just rock music.
Thanks for that, Matt. Rock music.
I'm not just really sophisticated in my genre specificity.
I don't know. I know. I was just
like
thinking
Love in an Elevator, or what kind of rock music? Like what are they?
Like, yeah, just give us a song title or something, or anything. REO Speedwagon.
I'm just not that literate.
All right.
It sounds okay. It's music. It sounds like music that's guitar driven with melodic vocals.
Okay.
You don't say. Okay.
Does that help?
So Jawbreaker.
No. It sounds like Jawbreaker.
I'm doing this
when it doesn't
purpose.
Sound like Love in an Elevator by Aerosmith. It sounds like
because
Jawbreaker.
I don't know those guys, but I just probably caused a lot of people to be just that curious now.
Right.
And they're gonna make like 0.3 cents off Spotify over the next 3 hours.
It might be the best band in the world. I'll never know because I'll never listen to them.
Fair enough. I mean, there's a lot of bands you just hear the name and you're like, you just can't.
Nope.
You just can't do it.
Nope.
Trying to think.
For me, usually it's not the name; it's when I see them.
You just don't like the looks of them, like when a predator senses its natural enemy or something. Like what?
We made this. We were talking about this, and I hate to shit on a band, but when I saw the Promise Ring, I didn't get to a song in, and they were smiling when they were playing. I'd never seen a band, and granted, this is like late 90s, and you're going to emo and hardcore shows.
Oh, yeah,
and this band's like, they're smiling. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? And it doesn't matter what they were playing. They were too happy. Who's that happy? It's not even we enjoy playing our music, but it's so uncomfortable. I mean, why?
It's probably because so many pretty girls like their band. That's probably why they were smiling.
Oh, so they had a reason to be, and they're probably getting paid well. Okay,
right. Probably getting paid well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's
better than any of us were, that's for sure.
Yeah. But I don't know. I refuse to listen to them because they just looked too happy doing what they were doing.
Yeah, wow.
No offense to them.
I think it's a reason I can get behind for sure. You guys are too fucking happy.
And the Promise Ring, that name is just as bad as Diarrhea Planet because it makes me think of Promise Keepers. And then I'm going down, and I live in Alabama, and all of it's just.
Oh, sure. Yes,
it's
fraught.
just too much.
Right.
And next you're going to have me reciting the 10 Commandments.
Do people still do that? Promise Keepers?
I don't know. I teach at a university in the South, and I try to ignore everything about what young people do.
Promises are long since broken at that point.
Today's Southern Christian university youth and their activities might as well be like Diarrhea Planet.
It might as well be a Diarrhea Planet.
I'll never know. And I'm not going to find out. But they're all really happy. So
nobody expected Diarrhea Planet to catch so much shrapnel on this show, but here we are.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm a supporter. I think they fucking rip.
Yeah.
I encourage everybody to check them out.
I
won't. You can spell the word.
I won't. I will not.
Nope.
Amazing.
Okay, so back to the Red Scare, right? Like putting this together, like putting this release together, like when you're listening back to the music, right? It's a bit like time travel. Whenever you hear like your past self, I'm assuming you don't like put it on for like a Tuesday afternoon, like throw on the Red Scare record, right? I mean, it's got to be like probably been a while.
I do. It's like it's since that time has been first date music for me.
Promise Ring and the Red Scare. Those are the
two. If you can take that, you can take anything.
Yeah,
right?
That's it. The deuce is what I say.
Yeah, and I mean not just the intensity of the music, just how cool it is to listen to your own band in front of someone you don't know. Yeah. It's it's a 1-2 punch.
You don't tell them. That's the trick. You just put it on.
I'm not going to tell you which one is which.
Check out this new Diarrhea Planet album.
In all earnestness, though, like you can engage with it as music, like not as like I remember that experience of playing that or like whatever. Like you can actually hear it as music, right? I mean, because it's been long enough.
Yeah, like especially like because so we've been having to also like teach other people this. Like Carrie from New Brutalism is going to play like synthesizer and
rad,
maybe other stuff. And then an old friend of ours that you might even know from California, Josh Anzano, is going to play guitar.
Oh,
yeah. You know Josh?
Yeah.
Okay. He was in the Anasazi amongst a wide variety of other things. Titan.
Yeah. Not real well, but yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah. What was that? Oh, so like I'm having to go through and like revisit each song, which is totally like an alien thing. Like at this point, like I can barely even remember what each song, like don't know what the title is. Like each song is like a brand new experience.
Right.
So figuring out like
imagine how the audience is gonna feel.
Hey, I've been having to figure out like not just my guitar part, but also the other guitar parts.
Right.
And yeah, it's
there's no YouTube tutorials, right? There's no 13-year-old kid playing through it. Yeah.
Yeah.
If only we were a household name.
I feel like it'd be. That's the main problem.
I've never thought so much about that line until this show. But anyway.
No, it's great. But you're right. If we were, there would be a bunch of kids doing like, what do they call them? Like, what's the word? Not
Whippets?
A cover. No, what is it?
It's like a playthrough, right?
It? Yeah, there you go. There'd be a bunch of those. But I think you're right that you listen.
Chat Pile has them.
That's a good.
It's fun to kind of improve the parts because it's like
I think what I meant to say was, young
exactly.
me wanted to do this.
But there's a certain point too where you realize that I remember I was sitting there in practice and I could not get this drum part, and I kept listening. I'd never listened to it that hard. I'm like, there's no way I would have made it this hard on myself, because it's always about the least path of resistance. Yeah. And Carrie was sitting there and like, man, I seem to remember that you hit the bass drum and then you did it with your left hand. And I did it. I'm like, holy shit, because he watched me play, and I've never watched myself play. So it really has been a team effort. But I think you're right. You revisit the music kind of analytically. Yeah. And I never really listened that close to the guitar parts. It was always one big mass. And I'm like, oh wow, now I understand. Kip played that and Jon played that. I had no idea.
You know what else, Matt? I realized is that I'm pretty sure, and I didn't know it up until like a month ago, that they're pan left and right.
Yeah. Of course, sure.
Yeah.
AC/DC style. Yeah.
That helps.
Well, and is that thing of just like, did I play that or did you play that? Like what? What is like? Where you just don't know, which is funny because obviously when you write in the partiture and play it, like, oh, it's very important that I play this one thing. It's key to the song, and then it's like, no, it's like one thing coming at you.
And I'm glad
I found myself like I had like this weird muscle memory thing happen, like on certain songs where like I'd be sitting there trying to figure out what I played, and I'd get one part, and then without even thinking, I would go to the next part.
Right. Yeah.
And it was so weird.
Like the body knows somehow that it's over here now.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
But that's cool because the body sends signals, and when you're trying to learn the song, it's like somehow, if I don't think about it too hard, I just kind of naturally fall into it. Yeah. And at least I know how to get it started. And there's also this strange notion of wanting to have some allegiance to it. Because I remember Abby saying, like, why don't we just write all new music? And part of that was like, you're crazy. There's absolutely no way we're going to do that. But now that when I think about it, it's not such a bad thing. But when you go back to the old stuff, some stuff I'm really trying hard to play it the way I used to play it. I don't know how I have to. I could simplify it. I could do something different. But it's almost like it's not the song anymore if I don't play the drum part that way. So it's interesting to look back on it and feel like you have some sort of obligation or duty to it to try to not necessarily replicate it, but at least treat it like it's the same song now.
Yeah.
And I've never had to do that before. Like New Brutalism has had its time apart, but we were never so far apart that we had to have this big question. I mean, this is 24 years.
Yeah.
At best, we had maybe 3 or 4 year breaks.
It's probably so it's like, which number was that?
Oh, all the time, man. You know the one.
That one. Right.
Oh, that one. Yeah, that narrows it down. Oh, the one that kind of sounds like shellac mixed with.
Oh, that one. Yeah. Okay. That really narrowed it down. Thank you.
That was a bad
I'm realizing that simplification is not your forte.
I've tried really hard over the years.
I think I can remember. I can't remember our song titles, but yeah, after probably song 3, I'd be thrown with if we'd named our songs that way.
It never works.
Must be
I don't
know. Many? What number?
Austerity program does it too. You know.
Yeah.
Except for the Bible one, like they're all like, and it sucks because I love that band, but I'm like, was it song 28? Is that the one I want to hear? It's like, fuck, no, that isn't. That's one's good, but it's not the one I want to hear. God damn it! It's like both you guys' bands have that problem, and
total pain in the ass.
It's a very personal complaint, but
hey, well taken. I have the same complaint, but I've never really been most of my favorite albums, I think of like, the 4th song on the album. I never look at liner notes. I never look at. It's very hard for me, even some of my favorite records, to be able to tell you the names of the songs. But they have a great utility when you're on stage and you're like, play this one, and everybody's like, what, number 71? Like, any idea what you're talking about?
What even is that? Yeah.
I don't even know. I have no idea what 71 is. I don't even know what album it's on.
Couldn't tell you. Gun to your head. No idea. Yeah.
Is that the highest number?
89.
That's pretty impressive, dude.
That is impressive.
Yeah, we recorded 87, 88, and 89 with Albini, and 21. We haven't done anything with them. They're sitting on a shelf.
Yeah.
But this is hilarious. A story and a kind of hat tip to Albini. So the songs are numbers. He's like, what's the name of this song? And I say 88. And he turns to us and he says, that's a dog whistle for white supremacy. And Shane and I are like, we know so much about World War II history. Oh, is it because of the 88 howitzers that the Wehrmacht had? And he just looks at us and we kind of laugh. But on the tape, it's like 87 and it says 88 and in parentheses, not Hitler. And then 89 on our master tape. Fucking hilarious.
No,
just in case anybody was confused.
Yeah. Let's make it plain, right? Yeah, absolutely.
Numbers, dumb idea.
But you stuck with it for many years, so
once you start, if you're gonna do it. If you're not gonna do it, don't do it.
Yeah. I think most of the Red Scare songs, like I was probably trying to make Matt laugh with how excruciatingly heavy. Like, I think that was like the goal. Yeah. Just this sounds so brutal. Check it out.
You were trying to like make the most metal sounding names possible.
Right. Like, wow, that sounds audacious. Okay.
Crushing blows.
Yeah. Remember was it your misunderstanding of that song title? You thought it was like crushing blows, but not like.
Yeah. I was misunderstanding it on purpose. Right. I just don't like crushing.
Yeah, crushing's overrated.
It's like something a hardcore band would do. We're post-scrams.
Yeah, we get it.
We don't.
Post-scram.
Crushing.
We're a post-scrams band, really.
Crushing so 2021.
When you're post-scrams,
yeah,
crushing isn't really on the agenda. You know what I mean?
Nope. But yeah, those names were ridiculous. And I know the names of a few of them, but not many.
Right.
Yeah, me too.
But we'll make it work.
Yeah. Having said that.
Yeah, this is going to be fantastic. The fast one. The weird one, like.
Why don't we just name the songs that? Why don't we just name the songs the one that has the part that goes 4 times and then has the tail on it? Like, that's the song.
Yeah. Right.
It would be informative. It's what you say anyways.
Right.
Yeah.
If I ever start a new band, that's what we're going to do. That's the ultimate functionalist band.
That would be. Yeah.
That's a reason to start a band.
I've heard worse lately.
Yeah. Well, Crohn's disease planet or something. Irritable bowel syndrome planet. Diphtheria planet.
Diphtheria.
I think that would work a little better. Diphtheria.
Remember how excited I was when I heard that Nation of Ulysses song, Diphtheria?
You went there too. I totally went there.
I was like,
so
that's
good.
awesome. And I was like, who else would sing a song about diphtheria? Nobody. So that's theirs. Good for them, man.
That band, and I was so intimidated by that band because you build so much up, and I never saw them.
Oh yeah, like with the freaking the manifestos and like all of that.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, this is
Ian Savonius is like the sweetest dude in the world.
Yeah,
such a good guy. Such a nice guy.
Do you remember one of our first tours? We went to DC. I can't remember if we had a show or maybe we were recording up there, and we just went to the Black Cat because that guy, I think in the band Ruby Dare, worked there.
Wow, it's a deep cut, man. I have no idea.
Yeah, it is. It is a deep cut. We saw Spanonius at the Black Cat, and we were starstruck.
Now I remember. Yeah.
Okay, there you go. Anyway, Nation of Ulysses was definitely another huge touchstone for us as a band, I think.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That stuff holds up.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and there's, like, it's one of those things where, like, seeing people being influenced by the bands, influenced by Nation of Ulysses is interesting. Where it's like, oh, yeah. Huh. How deep does your record collection go?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of. I mean, other than like the Refused, who else?
Well, that's the most obvious one, but
yeah. I'm trying. Who else was aping that really hard, besides other bands that I've been in? I was just realizing that. Like I was,
as you said,
I was in Panthers. Yeah,
not Diarrhea Planet.
Yeah, Panthers I felt like was equal part like a Diarrhea Planet. God damn it. Was like equal parts like MC5 as well as like Nation of Ulysses. Sort of like a melding of those. I was a big Panthers fan, actually.
Oh, well, thanks, man.
Yeah, you guys are a solid rock band.
Even though it would have been the least likely pairing of all my bands, I actually really wanted Replicator and Panthers to play together when we were around, but never ended up.
Oh, that's awesome. Were you guys in the Bay Area at that time?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but we toured so goddamn much, like, because nobody liked us in the Bay Area. Let's go to places. Let's go to other places where people might like us. And that was actually semi-successful, but
nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I just remember like because at the time, you know, like Nation of Ulysses bands that kind of like were doing the Nation of Ulysses thing were not that rare. But like also like I was a big MC5 fan. I was like, oh, these guys like are like trying to like do like their version of MC5 too. That's awesome. That's nobody's doing that.
Trying, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it sounded like you guys, you know. So
Right.
But I was also a big fan of Turing Machine as well.
Yeah,
So,
Turing Machine is the fucking best. I think that's
Really good
probably,
shit.
yeah. I mean, yeah. So have you saw them live?
Yeah.
That was, yeah. I put Matt and Jerry Fuchs pretty high up there in terms of drummers.
That's too much, dude. That guy was a master.
Yeah. He was amazing, for sure.
It was kind of crazy seeing Maserati without him.
Yeah,
frankly, but I was glad they did it. But I was sort of like,
oh, was it Tony from whatchamacallit, Zombie, that was playing drums for them?
I'm trying to remember. It's actually been a while. It's funny because I talk to McNeil all the time, but I have not actually seen Maserati. Well, I guess in 7 years because last time I saw him was at the Hemlock in San Francisco, which the Hemlock is gone, and I have not lived in San Francisco, Bay Area since 2017. So
was the Hemlock the one that had like the glass smoking room inside the bar?
Yeah. It's and there's like a performance room that was like yeah, correct. Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, that
was
place was great.
Oh, it was like the place, man. It
was like the perfect size room. Yeah,
absolutely,
exactly. Yeah, I'm actually working on.
I was gonna say I remember. Sorry to interrupt, but
that's all right.
I was like, oh well, some of this stuff kind of reminds you of Pink Floyd. And then like for their encore, they did "Run Like Hell" from Pink Floyd. I'm like,
oh wow,
that's cool.
Awesome.
That's Jerry and
I thought that was a baller move. Actually, I was, you know what, respect. That's good. That's good.
For sure. That makes sense.
Sorry, what were we gonna say?
Oh, just Jerry and I's brother, Jerry's brother, Adam Fuchs, and I are working on a cartoon currently.
Oh, fantastic.
So and just talking to him on the phone is, he sounds so much like Jerry. It's just like eerie sometimes.
Yeah. So that brings up an interesting point though, because like post Red Scare, you know, you got Panthers, New Brutalism. Matt, you know, I'm a fan. Like it's like you guys kind of like explore other types of music, other types of weird music, or even not so weird music. I don't know, depending on where you're at. So again, coming back to the Red Scare stuff, and you taking all this time and being able to hear it as music, like what's your takeaway of like hearing it as music, other than wow, that the live stuff sure to sound fast.
I don't know.
That's a good question. You know, I went through a long period where I didn't really want to listen to it. I don't know why. Yeah. It's weird. I never went through that period with the New Brutalism stuff. I guess because it was you were always in it. But for a while, I'm just like, I think I must have went years where I didn't listen to it. You know, just every other Tuesday, as we talked about before, or for first dates.
Right.
But with the promise,
I don't know.
Yeah, canonically established. Yeah,
the ladies go wild for the Red Scare, especially the live stuff. But I don't know. I mean, I think now after engaging it a bit more critically, some of the stuff just seems like, we wanted to play some fast, loud, angry sounding music. But then some of it is surprisingly technical. And I find it hard to believe that we would come up with it. Like some of the parts and some of the combinations, like how the hell did we come up with that combination? But I think a lot of it, as it happens, and I mean, this, Conan, when you play with people for a long time, it becomes some weird dialogue where shit just happens. There wasn't a lot of premeditation in the Red Scare compared to other projects I've been in. Like New Brutalism could be more premeditated, but the Red Scare was just so, I don't know, it was just so natural, and I hadn't thought about that a lot until I re-engaged it.
That and also, what were we going to say?
I was just going to say, we're obviously biased because we're in the band, but also like, it just reminds you of good times. So it's got to be good music because you had fun playing it.
Yeah. And also, I think I kind of realized that, so I love both LPs, but I think I thought Capillary was the better one, and
First one.
it is not at all. Like Strangers is so much more complex, and it was like at that point in my opinion at least, yeah, we had learned to play with each other so well by that point that yeah, it's pretty amazing how the songs are pretty complex for sure. So
and that notion of being on the bleeding edge of capabilities. I mean, I can look back critically.
Yeah.
Why did I try to do that? Or that timing's off. How did we ever let that pass? You know,
Right.
Why didn't I do it again? At the time, I guess you're just not thinking that. You don't have any critical distance in the moment. But now looking back, I got to say that some of it, I'm like, I don't know. I just needed to chill out. Like, you just don't need to do that much.
Yeah, like it's almost just barely getting away from you. Like, just like,
exactly. It's like walking a dog that's a little bit faster than you. And part of that, I think that contributes to the urgency of it, which is a quality in music.
Yeah.
It's not
there
controlled.
There are a couple that do sound like they're getting. There was one in particular I saw reel, and I guess it was like the first time I'd heard it in forever, and I was like, yeah, that's insane. Like it sounds like like the song is we're chasing it.
Yeah, but that's a certain quality in music, I think. You know, I'm not going to say that I like it that much, but it's a lot of fun to play because it's kind of like public speaking. You're getting up, or just right now, this isn't scripted. Who knows what the hell is going to come out of our mouth other than, I'm going to mention Diarrhea Planet about 20 more times.
It's a running gag at this point.
But there's a certain excitement in playing music where there's an element of risk to it. You know, you're going to get up and you're going to play this music and you're not quite sure whether it's going to work out. And there's something really fun about that.
Yeah. I mean, that's like even going like early on, like in Memphis, going to like hardcore shows. The vibe in Memphis, where I grew up, was like very crusty, kind of like His Hero's Gone and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And it genuinely felt terrifying to go to those shows when I was like 16.
Yeah.
And that, I mean, I love that part of music. That just, I don't know when the last time I felt that was, but like it's nice to be terrified in that way.
Yeah.
So
we also think about what people, I mean, it's not about what people want to see, but when I think of bands I'm really into, there's an incredible respect for seeing a band that is precisely in control of their music. Like they've designed this and they're executing the design. But then there's something even more amazing about seeing a band that's just on the edge of it all falling apart.
Right.
So I think if there's
you don't quite know if they're going to land the plane.
Yeah. So I think
it's like, all right, let's see.
If these shows are successful, it'll be because the people will be witnessing some people trying to accomplish something. You know what I mean? It'll be entertaining in the sense that we'll be attempting to play these songs, and embedded in the DNA in the songs is a little bit of risk, especially the ones that we're choosing to play, which I'm not going to say we're picking the easiest ones. That's for sure. As if there are any. They're all too damn fast.
Yeah.
Canonically established. Yes.
Yeah.
Which, speaking of which, we should mention, and I'll put it in the show notes, of course. You got so September you got Knoxville, right? Asheville, and the Dark Days, Bright Nights in Richmond. Right?
Yeah,
that's what's announced right now.
Yeah, it keeps that festival keeps getting better and better. So
yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Sounds great. My invite was lost in the mail, but yeah, sounds good.
Well, you gotta come. We just assumed that you were coming.
Yeah. Well, I'll mark interested on the Facebook event.
All right, that sounds good.
But that's and they're all kind of grouped together, right? So is the idea like, hey, let's see how these go, and then we can see if we feel like doing it some more, or like, what's the mindset here? Yeah,
and also kind of maybe just kind of like. I mean, I feel like we probably will do more, but just not sure when.
Yeah. I feel like the mindset is like, this is the most possible work you can do to have a vacation with some friends. Like, why couldn't we just all go? Let's just go to Vegas. No, let's spend weeks ourselves. But yeah, I mean, I think
I'm gonna play a sweaty basement in some kid's house.
Yeah. Didn't we talk about? We talked early on about how this was like this was our version of Fishing Trip.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's the greens fees of music.
We're paying our greens dues right now.
Yeah. It's being on this show, actually. Those are the fees. No, but I think it's interesting because I don't feel like there's a lot of precedent for it for bands that are, well regarded, but like working bands like on a smaller level, right? Like, of course, it's hey, Circle Jerks announced a tour. Great, everyone will go to that. They know that's going to be great. It's more just a matter of like, can they do honor to the music? But there's also like it's got to be a little bit of a labor of love because it means a lot for the people it means a lot to, but it's not going to be a huge payday, I would imagine. I mean, maybe you are. I don't know. Don't say it on air, obviously. But
nothing that we could do, nothing that we could do could be as bad as the album cover for the most recent Black Flag record.
Oh my God!
I think we're safe. I think we're safe.
The one that looks like a sour candy.
Yeah, it looked like the Mr. Yuck decal.
You still have my. There's a recent They're making more music.
I mean, 10 years ago. 10 years ago. I saw them on a tour. I went to see.
It's Greg Ginn and a bunch of Mike
Vallely.
The skate guy and like.
Yeah.
A dude that doesn't have shoes on for playing drums, and another guy on bass.
Yeah.
What's wrong with playing drums with no shoes? I've been doing that for years.
This is the only thing I remember about.
This
is the album cover. Hold on.
That looks like a joke.
Let's zoom in. No, this is.
It does.
You know whose album cover looks better than that is Diarrhea Planet.
Yeah.
God damn it! There they are again.
Yeah.
But no, Conan, I wear shoes when I play drums. I'm kidding.
I don't care. I just like if your only memorable thing is like, wow, that guy doesn't wear shoes when he plays. Like if that's the only thing that's memorable about you. Look at the other dude. There's such a rich history of like Bill Stevenson, Robo. Yeah. There's so many great, amazing like drummers associated with Black Flag. It's like that dude doesn't wear shoes.
Yeah. Oh,
maybe he's great. I saw some live footage. I was not super impressed, but also it was like just great getting noodling away.
Yeah.
Tunelessly noodling, as Steve Albini once said.
Yeah.
But that had to have been entertaining to see Greg Ginn. I mean,
I saw him play at a record store in L.A. With him and I don't know 2 other guys, and I apologize to my bandmates for bringing them to it.
Wasn't he in that band?
And that's one of my favorite guitar player of all time, to be clear.
He was in what?
It's like his top 10.
Wasn't he in that band L Bad?
I don't know. I don't know what that is.
Again?
Yeah.
Are you guys familiar with Black Oak, Arkansas?
Nope.
All right. Well, I saw a double bill with Black Flag and Black Oak, Arkansas, and it was the weirdest.
Was it put together by a meme?
Yeah, pretty much. No, well, it was put together by the city of Memphis, I'm pretty sure. Which
okay.
that's one of our living legends, Jim Dandy from Black Oak, Arkansas.
That's right, Jim Dandy. By the way, I don't know why I know this, but you know what their original name was?
Oh my God, I can't wait.
Nobody Else, but KNOW. Black Oak, Arkansas was actually a trade up as far as that
Nobody
goes.
Else.
The Nobody Else, yeah.
Wow.
I don't want to bring it back to El Bad, but it seriously, guys. The album is called Bad Motherfucker. It was on SST 1997, and Greg Ginn is in the band. Look at that.
So did
look at that.
Travis Barker played drums on that and designed the cover. It looks like.
I'm just going to assume that's true without looking it up. Yeah. Oh, they have multiple ones, huh? Okay.
Yeah, this is an even better.
Wow. Holocaust Party is one of the names, right? Great. Okay.
Wow.
So yeah. So Conan, you got to listen to some Elbad and some Diarrhea Planet when this.
All right, got quite the playlist brewing.
But yeah, I mean, I guess you're right. I mean, I never really thought that there's a hell of a lot to gain. Like no effects going on this tour before they call it quits.
Sure.
Like, there's a hell of a lot to gain. I don't know. I mean, it's going to be nice to sleep in a hotel instead of somebody's floor.
Oh yeah, that is a lovely thing about touring as like a grown ass man.
Yeah,
yes.
It's going to be nice to live off. I remember that tour where we ate off $2 a day, or that we had the mustard tacos, white bread, and mustard packets from Hardee's.
That was our way to express to Orchid how awesome we were, is that we could do it for that little.
Yeah,
and we did it for weeks. Yeah, I about got rickets and scurvy.
I was just about to say how many deadly diseases did you contract? Yeah.
You remember
last time you had a fruit?
Yeah.
I think we eventually gave ourselves a
April.
raise to $5 a day, and we felt like kings.
Yeah, I could buy a 40 at that point.
Right.
I could buy 5 gas station hot dogs.
Great investments, one and all.
Yeah, well, the colonoscopy says I'm all clear, so it's highly surprising.
Same, buddy. Same. We're doing this right. We're doing it right.
What the
Red
hell, man?
Scare. All clear on the colonoscopy front.
Clean
Yeah,
coming.
that's our name of our tour. Is
That's
that
the clean
post-colonoscopy?
Hey, you just gave me a T-shirt idea. Can we put brown on brown?
Yeah,
Oh,
we definitely
man.
can.
Oh man.
He really likes this.
Let's give
What do
him
they call it?
diarrhea.
Scatological
Ideas.
humor.
Yeah.
It's never old. Poop jokes.
No.
It's evergreen.
I'll never
or
remember
brown
that.
if you prefer.
I'll never
Yeah.
forget. Abby taught me breaking off a Duke. I used to say bury a Quaker. It doesn't make any sense.
Bury
But
a
the best
Quaker.
one, and your audience will get this one. I'm gonna put out my own 7-inch.
You're releasing it. You're releasing
so
your own
good.
7-inch.
Yeah, it's so
Wow.
good. Releasing, yeah. Well, not at this age. I'm definitely putting out. There's no gone are the days where you just sit
Oh
there
my
with balls.
God.
It's like I need a cup of coffee in 45 minutes. If you get an email from me before 7:30, I'm on the pot.
This is what
This
the
is
one.
not a joke.
This is the one glass of alcohol talking.
Yeah. It's like Hot Snakes. I didn't even think about the band name for a long time. And I was like, oh yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
You know
Well,
what?
yeah.
I never thought about that.
No, what is the?
It's a poop reference.
Yeah, have you ever
Interesting.
picked up a piece of poop? It's warm. Apparently theirs was hot.
Yeah, well,
Right.
it's evocative is what it is.
Nice.
Interesting. Okay.
This is really
I would
deep
learn-
intellectual.
This
territory, man.
is pretty, yeah, there you go. We're all learning something.
Yeah. I'm still trying to wrap my head around that.
I feel leery about. We're getting off this topic right now, by the way. But
Okay, good.
I feel leery about it since you've gone on and on about not being able to associate the song to the song title. But I was
Yeah.
going to suggest that with the re-release, which is lovely, by the way.
Thank you.
Not re-release. What do you call it? It's
I think that works.
re-release, reissue,
Yeah.
archival issue, whatever.
Mhm.
I was gonna suggest going through like a song by song, and you can just tell me a little bit about each one, like maybe anything you remember, or parts that were difficult to play, or lyrics that are hard to remember, like whatever floats
Yeah.
your boat. Just kind of like talk about a little bit about the music and maybe less about poop.
Yeah. I think that's a
Okay,
good
I
goal.
promise no more. I won't say Diarrhea Planet again for the rest of the podcast.
That's good. All right, it's like Beetlejuice. Say it 3 times, they appear on the screen. just like
my.
Greg again. Oh no! God damn it. So yeah, all right. So automated section is his first song.
Yep.
So Kip, you want to start it off here?
Oh, go
That's
ahead.
That's Greensboro, Matt. That's so that we wrote that
Oh
song.
shit! Was that the Greensboro Crawl Space show?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
That's
I think
where we
that's
played a
aptly
show.
put.
We get to the show. Correct me if I'm wrong, Kip, because I am old and I could be making a myth.
Yeah.
We get there and they're like, "Okay, here's the power strip, whatever, and you guys are good, right? Okay, cool."
See you
And
later.
they go upstairs and they're practicing with their band while the show's supposed to be going on, and nobody shows up.
Yeah, I'm
So
not
we,
ruling that out.
Can you admit to theft? I think we stole some cables and some power strips, and we're like,
Sure.
a handful
Statute of
of
limitations
dirt
is
from
probably
the
good on
floor.
that.
And
Yeah,
I was
we
the
did
only one
that.
who was comfortable because I got to sit down. It was like 5.5 feet tall in that space.
Yeah. So we just wrote songs
Yeah, we
Wow.
had band
or
practice.
song. Yeah.
You stole
Um,
dirt? Wait, back it up. You stole dirt?
We stole dirt.
Well, no, the floor was dirt, so we kicked around a lot of dirt.
Oh,
You
I
could
see.
really mess up a crawl space if you rearrange the dirt. I'm an architect.
Right. Yeah.
You want to
So-
mess with somebody, get in their crawl space and move their dirt around, dude. Comes out for the balance.
All the feng shui's all messed up.
Exactly. I can't sleep.
Somebody
anymore,
move my
honey.
dirt. It's a sequel to Somebody Move My Cheese. Thank you.
But Automated Section is my it's in my top 5 favorite songs.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
It was so much fun to play. And it wasn't the straight up it had some
the hardcore beat, the
hardcore beat. We used to divide them into UOA beat. What were some others? Probably Melvin's beat. I don't know. I mean we called that Greensboro, North Carolina for a long time. I feel like we probably had alternate song titles for most of these.
Yeah, but that title was nowhere near as tough as Automate in Section.
Yeah, which still to this day I have no idea what that means.
No idea what it means.
It's like two kind of cool sounding words together.
Exactly.
That's all you need to know.
Thank you for validating my naming convention.
Unlike Diarrhea Planet.
Well done.
I'm going to force their hand in some way by us mentioning them so many times.
You should get them on the podcast, man. I think this is
with like not a note of music heard by me.
No, nothing. You can get them to explain the music, and I'm sure they're going to say it's guitar-driven rock with a lot of vocals.
Sound a little bit like The Promise Ring, really.
Yeah, we smile a lot. We're really happy about it.
Device for Annihilation.
Oh man, Matt, what do you got about that one?
I that was early in the days, and what I really liked about it is that it had a sweet halftime breakdown at the end, which meant A, I could breathe, and B, I could play a beat that sounded like a slow Jesus Lizard song.
Okay.
Yeah. And there weren't a lot of opportunities for that. But it's like balls out, and then it's like boom. It sounds like a Creed song. I'm sorry, bad music. And then Kip goes,
I do. Yeah,
that was a good song. I like that one.
Yeah, I'm glad that you were able to describe that in a way that I finally recognized in my brain which song that is.
Yeah, it's like it sounds like Tool 10 times faster and then Tool 10 times slower.
Right.
Right.
I'm kidding. I don't know what Tool is.
I think like the next one, Jet Set. I think that's one of my favorites. So
let's move on to Jet Set then.
That was the first song that because for initially like I would bring parts into practice and we would arrange them or whatever. And Jet Set I think was the first one that I was like, oh, this is really good. Like I was proud of myself for that one.
Yeah, I'm not excited about learning to play that one. That one I still can't figure out how to play that weird tom part.
Yeah, okay. I think this is Conan's way of getting us to say which ones we're playing.
You can find out from the context of this.
Yeah, I'll be playing that one poorly.
12 years past, someone.
I don't even remember that one.
Well, the reason that I mostly remember it is because it was like one of the few that I saw like a cover of another band playing it on YouTube. And actually, in a really good band too. They're called Carry On Spring. I think they did
carrying like
Roadkill
dead animals, or like Carry On like My Wayward Son.
Neither on my luggage on the Delta flight.
Yeah. I'm gonna just say all of those.
Sure.
But no, it's like Carrion.
Okay, so carrying like vultures and stuff. Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm. But they did a great version of it. I wound up being on one of the guys' podcasts.
Oh, cool.
Okay, and we talked about that, which I don't think I knew that that they had covered it prior to that. So anyway, that's an interesting. I mean, I can't say that I can't think of another song that I've been a part of that has been covered by someone else.
It's kind of crazy, right?
Yeah, I mean that's a good feeling. I'm just you want me to just keep.
I'll usually announce them. That's usually how the bit goes, but you can just take it over if you want.
Well, fine.
Well, and there is that rich tradition.
My Riz.
Of like bands being on like the band covers the band on the other side of the record too, like that, like great tradition.
Oh yeah,
like we got to do that with Long, and that was great because they sound nothing like us. So it was like, and then I get to hear one of my favorite bands like do a song I wrote. Great, that's a treat in and of itself. Wonderful.
Yeah, we did that with Send Me an Angel, except we did not do a split with Real Life, the band from the 80s.
Yeah. Remember that? Was it a Jawbreaker Tar split where they covered each other's songs?
Jawbox. Yeah. That's kind of one of the ones I was thinking of when I was like,
yeah, that's good stuff.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Post Meridian.
That's where I finally realized that I didn't have to copy the drummer from Universal Order of Armageddon. I could come up with my own beat that sounds like that.
I think Adam wrote that.
Yeah, that's a good one. We're playing that one. That's like our, Back in Black, that song, I feel like.
Right.
It's
true.
All the cigarette lighters go up. Yeah.
That's such an apt comparison.
It's very guitar driven. But that's a fun one to play. I don't know. Yeah. It's simple. It's super simple. Always enjoyed that one.
I mean, I think that, and that's kind of like what I was saying about the difference between Capillary and Strangers Die Every Day.
Having a little more nuance and kind of pushing it a little differently.
Yeah. I feel like we were going to weirder places for sure.
Crushing Blows. We talked about that a little bit earlier.
Yeah. Matt, do you want to?
Crushing Blows.
Yeah, man. I love that song. Like that. There's, for some reason, and I don't know why, there's this part in the middle of it where Abby and I play just bass and drums, and it sounds like Bad World music.
First of all,
I don't know what the hell we were thinking, and it comes out of nowhere.
Bad
and
World
then it comes
music.
back in. And I had proposed, let's play that song, but let's just stop there, which is kind of a dumb idea. But no, I enjoy listening to that song, but I still don't know what compelled us to.
I don't know what compelled you guys either, but the results were sick. I remember how excruciating it was for both of you to iron that part out.
I guess that was an early moment where we actually challenged ourselves to try to play something that was really hard.
Yeah. While Adam and I sat by the beer vending machine in the hallway.
Yeah.
Got any more quarters? Nope, me neither. Okay.
But another thing, looking at that song can't just be 2 minutes and 48 seconds long. In my mind, that song is like an excruciating 6-minute song.
I know.
It's 2 minutes and 48 seconds long.
Maybe you're just thinking about, did you do it more live? Did you kind of...
Well, it would have been 1 minute and 58 seconds long.
It's the other way around, right? Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, that just doesn't seem right. But yeah, anyways.
Inertia, Distance to Empty.
I think Inertia is when we listened back to it, or when I listened back to it for the first time, and there's this thing that Matt does, the drumming, and I wish I could actually articulate better where it happens, but just this, I feel like you kind of stop, Matt, and then when you kind of drop back into it, it's so sick. And it's not like it's a pretty easy part to roll past and not even think about it, but I don't know, it just struck me at the right time. But yeah, that's definitely one of my favorites. I felt that was probably the final one we wrote for Capillary, and I feel like we were getting good at that point.
Yeah. I do think that it was a big stretch for us to put those two songs together, because it was, I guess now I'm remembering there's a reason why these songs are under 3 minutes, because you just can't do it for very long.
Yeah.
And in the studio, if you play a song for 1 minute and 45 seconds and you fuck up, no skin off your back, play it a few more times.
Yeah.
But that one, you get 5.5 minutes in and you screw up. It's like, God damn it. And I do remember that one being a pain in the studio. This has nothing to do with the song, but I don't know why we made this decision. But at the end, I'm sorry. How about this is the podcast where I rip our old songs. But we dropped all the room mics out of the drums. The drums are roomy, and then they all go away, and it sounds like I'm playing on cardboard boxes, and not well.
That's I think it was
I'm not talking about that high quality cardboard. I'm talking about the mid grade stuff.
It's
some Amazon boxes.
Box.
Yeah.
But I do think back when we were joking about looking back and saying, how could I have ever thought that was acceptable? I should have played it again. So every time I listen to Distance to Empty, I still to this day, Kip, I listen to it, I'm like, I can't believe I didn't try to do that again. But you probably wouldn't even notice it. The timing,
kind of know what you're talking about, but not. I mean, sort of. But I kind of thought that like that room sound was more like the song coming from like the background to the foreground or something like that. Are you talking about that or like something else?
Nah, it's like literally their room mics drop out, and it's like the drums.
I thought that was
are
intentional.
Oh, it was. Well, there's a lot of things that were done in human history that were intentional that were awful.
That's true. That's
so
true.
That doesn't excuse it.
Yeah,
but I agree with Kip. It is one of my. We're definitely playing those two. Another kind of challenge, but they're rewarding to play.
Yeah,
Right.
Inertia's hard for sure. I mean, even from a guitar standpoint, it's hard.
How about Earache?
I
metal
always
song.
felt like I felt like that. Oh, did we call that metal?
For years, we just called it the metal song. I don't know why.
I'd kind of forgotten about that. That was on the split with Hail Mary. And yeah, I think it was Chuck that was like, "Hey, that song's great." And yeah, now like the reassessment in my mind is that I love that song, but
it's got that kind of pirate beat. You know, the pirate time signature. Da 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 da. Like the like.
It's a
Timber
sea
Me Timbers gallop.
Yeah.
So that's one of the songs for all those devoted Red Scare fans out there. You know, when you see a band and you're disappointed they don't play it like they do on the album, we're adjusting. It's going to be a little bit less swashbuckling.
Swashbuckling. What a great word.
You know, it won't evoke the Pirates of Penzance like it used to. Johnny Depp won't be pleased.
Yeah.
Fair enough. All right. Fair warning.
Johnny Depp. It took me a second to. Johnny Depp won't be pleased.
That's a Pirates of the Caribbean joke, folks.
Yeah, no, I got it. It was subtle, but I got it.
I'm gonna go out on a limb. Right, go ahead, Conan. I'm not trying to take it away from you.
Full steam ahead.
I'm just gonna say I don't think either one of us knows what.
I don't
that song
remember
is.
which one that is.
I think that would have had a short shelf life.
Is that the split? Right?
No, I think it might be the one on the Pancratian split.
Oh yeah, I like that song. I think I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't know why. I think we just didn't really play that one a ton live.
Yeah.
So
yeah, they kind of fall into obscurity when they don't become live staples. You know, some of the, how those songs are. You play it and it's awesome, and you record it, and then it's just not.
And then people are like, "That's my favorite song," and you're like, "What? Which one is that?" I have no idea what you're talking about. Like, I mean, like, "Oh yeah, that was pretty good. Why didn't we play that one?" Yeah, okay. Yeah, so I hear. Anyway, 45 version, Jet Set.
Isn't that the OG version?
Yeah. We recorded that in my basement. I think Dave from New Brutalism recorded that.
On a 4-track Yamaha tape player.
Yeah. I think we just thought we had to re-record it because we wanted higher fidelity.
A higher fidelity recording.
Well, another thing about that, and not to segue too much in the next one, but weren't those the first 2 songs? And Adam's playing guitar on those 2, and we released a 7-inch.
Yeah.
And Epiphany #2, if you listen to it, you understand why we kind of just didn't play it much anymore. But Jet Set had some legs, and it was worth continuing.
Yeah. I just assumed, given the song title of track 11, that the second after the hashtag was going to become another.
Right. Hashtag 2. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. Am I confused? I thought one of these songs was called Tina Yothers is as hot as a $2 pistol.
No, that was the song that did not go on this record or any of the discography.
Well,
I don't
the
know.
name
It was
sound
out. I offered it as a possibility, and I think it was uniformly shot down.
Yeah, all right, that's too bad. It's a great name.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think we might have shortened it to $2 pistol. Didn't want to
Who
get
was
sued
Tina
by
Yothers? Wasn't she like a hot heartthrob from the 80s or something?
No, I think
not really. She was like the plain sister from Family Ties, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, why did we call the song
much
that?
About that show?
You called the song that.
Oh, sorry. Okay, that makes sense.
I shouldn't say she was played. She was fine. I mean, it just was like she wasn't known for being a
hot as a $2 pistol. What is a $2 pistol?
I don't know what a $2 pistol is, so I can't answer that question.
I'm gonna say a cheap pistol, maybe.
I was gonna say I've toured in the Mountain West. I know how cheap guns are. Well, I never see one for $2.
Yeah. Don't pistol shame teeny yothers.
Yeah, don't $2 pistol shame her.
Sequence for explosion.
That I think that's on the Orchid split.
Yeah, that's the Orchid split one.
Yeah, I think is that like one of the only times that we actually had to go and write a song for a specific purpose like that? Like we need a song. Well, no, actually, there's another one that I see.
Are you saying we didn't write any other song for a purpose?
There were more.
I don't think so. No, you know what I mean. Like it was a bespoke.
What, Bastille Day? Like, what would the purpose be? I don't understand.
I mean, for like, meaning like, okay, we don't have we need a song for this split 7-inch.
Oh yeah, so that song was kind of like our first job. Like we had to do it.
Right.
I'm gonna just agree with that. Yes.
All right.
For sure.
I don't remember that at all.
I was really grasping at straws to remember something besides the Orchid split. So thank you guys
this isn't
for
really
song shaming me.
This is something, Conan. This is really useful because we've never done this.
You just gone through each of the songs. No, I think it's interesting. You can get really interesting stories sometimes out of it.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I guess it's not something as a band you would think to do. Hey guys, let's name the song titles.
Stop. We did this last week.
We didn't do this.
Come on, man.
But was there a Bastille Day reference? I think not.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Yeah. Which is surprising given all of our French heritage.
Right,
yeah.
Exactly. Send me an angel.
My name's French. That's good. It was a nice break.
I don't know why we got onto that, but Matt used to want to cover that song from Footloose. What was that? Holding Out for a Hero or whatever that. Yeah.
I need a hero. I'm holding out for a hero till the morning light.
Yeah, Bonnie Tyler you're talking about?
I don't know if it was
great.
Bonnie Tyler, maybe.
He's gotta be strong and he's gotta be fast and he's gotta yeah. He's gotta do something else. I can't remember what it is.
It's Anthem. That's a good song.
That's from The Legend of Billie Jean, though. That's not from Footloose. That's a different movie entirely.
No, I must have been in both because it's definitely.
I thought it was from
Footloose and the tractor chicken fight.
It's from the tractor race scene in Footloose.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. I guess I haven't seen Footloose in a while.
But Send Me an Angel is.
You know where else it is, by the way? Short Circuit 2.
Wow. Johnny Five is alive. Steve Gutenberg. Whatever happened to him?
The Goot.
Yeah.
He was in that one episode of Party Down. That's the last time I saw him.
Oh, really? You're right. That was a great show.
As himself.
Yeah. Did you see the reboot?
Yeah.
I did. I mean, it's not a reboot so much as a sequel, and it's great.
I just discovered that show, my wife and I, a year ago. It never.
Well, it was. I cited that as one of my old band's chief influences. And I felt really good about it. And I blew the mind of one interviewer. It's like, what, really? I'm like, yes, really. It's like, that's amazing. I'm like, thanks. I say amazing shit all the time. Thank you.
I can actually give you some further information on this song. Because
lay it on me.
Have you seen the movie Rad from the 80s?
Yes. I'm from California, yes.
All right.
Mandatory.
I think I asked
it's the law.
Recently, they were like, "No, what?"
What?
But yeah, I loved that when I was little. And
was it Randy Randall? I'll call him right now.
No. Oh, actually, yeah, I think it was. Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I think it was.
I'll text him.
Because I remember. Yeah, because I was surprised. I was like, really? But yeah, that's
dude, you've never seen Rad? I'm saying it right now.
That Send Me an Angel was in the bicycle dancing scene, and somehow when we were, I think in Boise, Idaho, we had like a second. We knew we wanted to do a split with True North, and we had like a second in this dude's garage to learn a song, and we thought that would be awesome for some reason.
I like that we narrowed it down.
It turned
to
out
a
way better
song.
than.
Well, we narrowed it down to a song from a bicycle dancing scene or a tractor race scene.
It's one of the. It's
one of the two,
scenes.
man.
Yeah,
It's like
exactly.
that's the type of laser point
Really?
focus conceptually and aesthetically that we have as a band.
That's amazing. I mean, I'm so much happier about our band right at this very moment.
I think we should cover
an
I Need
overload
a
of
Hero
pride.
for the fest. Let's do
Yeah.
it. But all halftime.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go, man. You can hop up and do backing vocals. I like your oohs.
There you
Those
go.
are
Yeah.
hot. Well done.
we can get it all in there. Yeah, there you go. We can put this band together eventually. Risking your life with a capital R.
Our best work. Definitely.
It's
I don't know
Matt
if
likes
Kip
it because of the
thinks so.
time signature. No, I love that
I don't
song,
know.
but
It's such a weird song.
hang on one second.
You getting your notes out? Yeah, I don't know
I'm-
what it is about it. I think it's just got some weird space in it. You know how a lot of that kind of music, and we're guilty of it, it has those beats that are dum 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 dum. It's just that kind of monotonous post-scrams gallop. And
Post-scramps.
I think by the time you're into the second album now, the Strangers Die Every Day, and I think
Yeah.
we were,
Yeah.
I guess we were
Yeah,
a
that
bit more
song's awesome.
comfortable not having to do that. And this was, I think for me, it was one of the first times we actually wrote something that kind of sounded original.
Yeah, sure.
I'm being very critical here. My apologies, but I listened to that. I'm like,
Yeah,
that was a breaking point.
All right.
Yeah.
How about the titular song, Smoky Mountain High?
It's got some
Man,
sweet guitar leads.
Yeah, it really does. I don't know.
Is
how...
that John in the beginning?
Yeah. Yeah.
So Jon Asher, our guitar player, who needs to be mentioned, is a wonderful, wonderful man that we would love that if he would be involved. But it's all good. I get it. That's the tale for another story. But I never realized how good of a guitar player he was. It was always such a nice
same.
slide. Conan, when you ask going back and listening and what do you think of this stuff, and you know, Kip's like the workhorse driver screamer.
Right.
And all these weird little complex lead parts that I don't know where they came from, but he would just, Kip, you would play and he would just play it. And that guitar part at the beginning of that song is, to me, really incredible. It's a testament to his prowess as a guitar player.
I think that might have been one of the few songs that I think he must have brought in that guitar riff, right?
Yeah,
I mean
that riff started.
I can't imagine that wasn't the first part of that song.
Mm.
Nice.
Yeah, I love that song.
But we're not playing it.
Even though you named the record that.
Well, first of all, I don't know if we can.
Wow.
And I don't know. I guess for some reason it didn't float to the top as a song that we were going to play. I think I may have vetoed it because it was too fast.
Strangers Die Every Day.
I think that one similar
Accidental instrumental.
Yeah, I think that and I'm getting confused. Distance.
Well,
to
Strangers Die Every Day was from the live WNYU session that we put on the album.
I think that was. Was it that one or the 5 months in Poland? I can't.
Now, 5 months in Poland was from that studio in Atlanta that the Hala Shaddad guy ran.
Okay,
right?
Yeah, you just blew me. I the three instrumentals. I know we recorded one in Atlanta. We recorded one.
We have three.
So just I know that's what I didn't realize this either, but Distance to Empty, Strangers Die Every Day, and 5 months in Poland. Yeah, it's funny. That recently reoccurred to me also.
Yeah, Distance to Empty was recorded at that same studio, but I think not at the same time we recorded 5 months in Poland. We recorded 5 months in Poland and Earache at the same time.
Okay.
There you go.
That makes sense.
But yeah, Strangers Die Every Day was just something that just we made up on the spot, just messing around, and we could never replicate it. Those songs we tried, I think. It was an absolute nightmare. Yeah.
But by the way, I have an update. Randy Randall's going to watch Rad tonight. So there you go.
Sweet.
So it's a real-time update, everybody.
I think it's finally in the iTunes store, so he's probably.
There you go.
That was a pandemic.
Pandemic watch.
Yeah.
I mean, like, look, is it like going to be in the Criterion collection soon? No, it will not. But
hey, look, it's got Talia Shire. I don't know what else do you need?
Talia Shire, does it? Yeah. Lori Loughlin too.
Yeah, who went on to great things.
Yeah.
Full House. Who can forget?
Classy scandals.
and
High-end luxury scandals.
A scandal of some kind, the details of which I cannot remember.
Right. Yeah.
Cranial masses. Sorry.
That's the right. That's a we're not playing that one, which is sad. But that one, there's a drum beat in that song that I couldn't ever play it, but I kept trying to play it, and somehow Don Zientara, when we recorded it, managed to capture it. But it was awful, absolutely awful. But I love that song. That's a good song.
Yeah,
that riff in the beginning.
Yeah, I love that.
That riff in the beginning to me does the same thing that that Drive Like Jehu song, New Math.
Oh, of course, yes.
It's got, to me, it's like I feel like we finally kind of captured something that had that vibe with that riff and that drum beat. Not that I'm comparing it to New Math. New Math is gospel, and this is like somebody scribbled this on the bottom of a rock. But yeah,
that's opposed to the rest of the gospels that are like done on an iPad. I don't know, like what
on the top of a rock.
Right, exactly. All right, fair enough.
But yeah,
it's on a sheet of aluminum.
We appreciate the clarification. Thank you.
Rocks have tops and bottoms, Conan.
I understand this. Yes, you can scribe on both sides. Apparently, who knew? Multi-scribing rock.
Post-scribe.
It's more post-scribe vibe. Yeah. Codoliths.
That's my funnest song.
Is it your favorite? Yeah.
Well, it's all like
that's my favorite enemy in Final Fantasy. No, kidding.
Yeah. Well, we never written a song that just had a straight, just straight beat to it. It was kind of a weird thing to have a song that had space in it.
Yeah.
But it's the closest thing we have
folks,
to a guitar.
Let's try something new. Let's try something. Let's put a little space in this one.
But that one's a lot of fun to play. It's still that's in my top 5. And your vocals are great.
Oh, thank you.
And they're the only vocals I know. Like literally, I have no idea what you're fucking saying. But
I mean, he knows that vocals occur on the rest of them.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah, I was doing something.
Yeah, good stuff.
That I am realizing as we're talking about this that this has more of a Chicago feel. Like it almost that rhythm is almost like a shellac thing. Or
I can hear that. Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also Abby and I always found some way for the bass and we just tried to play off each other as much as we could, which I think is also like a Chicago school thing that we clearly learned from there, that the bass and the drums become one instrument in some way.
Right.
It's like a really unique thing.
Where it's like, it's like one sort of just pounding insistence.
Exactly.
Coming at
Pounding Insistence would have been a better name than the Red Scare.
Jesus.
That's a good song title, Pounding
Insistence.
I'm gonna write
it
that
down. It's all yours. If you
I brought my notebook.
Good. And fuck-faced out JPEGs on there also.
Pounding Insistence.
Pounding Insistence is
featuring Conan Neutron. Yeah.
We'll give you credit.
Asphyxial Eclipse.
It's the worst song title.
That's just like, hey, find 2 awesome words and put them together.
Asphyxial. It's kind of happy in the beginning.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we never played in a major
I know what
key.
you mean.
We're not the fucking Promise Ring, but it's kind of upbeat in the beginning.
This is the most I've ever talked about the Promise Ring on this show, by the way. Just
sorry about
explicitly
that.
Clear. That was our goal, our mandate that we came up with before.
before.
We've done a few of these things, and I realize this is the second time I brought up the promise ring, and now it's going to be a trope. And if we ever do another one of these, I'm going to get my diarrhea planet facts straight.
Maybe they'll make a screamo meme about it that I actually understand when I see it.
Meme.
I don't that song in my. I mean, I love it now that we've been working on it to some degree, but I feel like that was definitely one of the ones that if you had asked me about it a year ago, I would not have known what that sounded like at all.
Like, I'm sorry, what did you just say to me? Asphyxia what?
Yeah, no, but I feel like that now that I know it or remember what it is, yeah, I remember it being really fun to play it the first time around, for sure.
It's not fun to play now, but I'll have it figured out in 3 weeks. That's our next band practice.
Yeah.
Iron Curtain.
I realized the other night that we didn't even talk. I don't think we've even talked about this.
That's a good song. I think we should play that one instead of Asphyxial Eclipse. We have two versions of the song?
I don't know. Maybe that's why I'm confused.
I think there was a version we recorded when we recorded the first version of Distance to Empty at that studio in Atlanta, and then we
okay, that makes sense. Yeah, okay. Maybe that's why. Yeah, and then we ended up merging Inertia with Distance to Empty, so that's why.
I'm pretty sure that one of my beats in Iron Curtain is a ripoff of a Hoover beat.
Okay.
Well, hey,
and that's a band worth mentioning multiple times.
I was about to say, Matt and I were talking the other day about it occurring to us that how big of a thing Hoover was to us back then.
Yeah, I can't believe we're an hour and a half into this, and Hoover has been mentioned twice, and Diarrhea Planet's been mentioned like a dozen times. And then Regulator Watts.
Yeah.
That's all of that stuff. Abilene, those guys. Right. Crown Hay Ruin. It's endless.
Yeah.
So now I just want to listen to that. But yeah, we should try to. I think Iron Curtain's doable. That's a good song.
Okay. I'm down. We're just making decisions right and left.
Wow, yeah.
There you go. It's a
never been so
man.
influential. Yeah.
Put that on my action item list.
You're like the Conan, you're like the therapist on the Some Kind of Monster doc.
Watch out! I'm gonna grab my bass and suddenly I'll be trying to join your band like that guy.
Is that the Metallica documentary?
Oh, you're goddamn right it is.
Is that the one with Dave Mustaine's in that cute sweatshirt crying about being kicked out?
I just missed my little. What is his diminutive he adds? I just missed my little something friend. He says.
Yeah, I mean, what the hell? He like, and I had to settle for Megadeth.
Right.
And again, that is settling if you compare the two. But I mean, that's Megadeth was a massive accomplishment to have a spaniel cut like that and still be a famous frontman.
By the way,
the
spaniel cut. That's amazing.
Write that down, Matt.
My favorite thing about Some Kind of Monster, and I think it's Damien from McCluskey and St. Pierre Snake Invasion, where we just started talking about that movie for like a while, but. He knew the exact scene I was talking about, which is that like Lars has recorded, I don't know, screaming in a hallway or something. It sounds like sub-Sigur Rós BS. Like it's bad. It's not great, right? But he's very proud of it. And Lars's dad, who looks like a wizard, shows up in the studio to listen to what they've done, right? And Lars plays him the bad Sigur Rós ripoff screaming in a room thing. And he goes, if it was my choice, I would say delete that. And Lars looks so crestfallen. He's like, like he just is so bummed out by it. But so my friend Ross from Rigs of Dad made a very limited run of stickers that said, I would say delete that, and it had like Lars's dad on it. And like it's like
awesome.
It's so esoteric of a reference that like look, people that listen to this show know all about it. It's like the third time I mention it, but it's one of my favorite moments of any documentary ever.
Wow.
Because it's that matter of fact, old world sensibility, the fact that he looks like a wizard, the fact that it sucks, like
there's a lot of facts going on, which is rare these days.
It really is. So yeah, I would say delete that. for that, which I've definitely I've said myself while recording. I was like, yeah, I would say delete that.
Words of wisdom. That makes me want to go back and rewatch that. It's been a long time.
It's more hilarious than ever, frankly. I can't believe they released it.
Yeah, it's kind of really, showing what goes on behind the curtain, and that is a nasty, nasty curtain.
Yeah.
We had a VCR in our van when Panthers toured Europe like a long time ago.
Yeah, I remember.
That was the only VHS tape I think we had with some kind of something monster.
So you know,
and I think like the inferior UK Office.
I wouldn't put it that way, but let's just say that you.
I know, I'm just kidding.
Shots fired. It's very different. But.
I know.
You wouldn't have the current office without the old office.
I know.
Well, it was the original one, Kip, and you
don't know.
Another one is where they talk about Newstead's new band, Echo Brain, is playing.
Echo Brain.
It's like Metallica's the past, man. Echo Brain's the future.
Echo Brain. All right, maybe the Red
It was like,
isn't
I
such a
assure
bad
you,
band name.
Echo Brain is not the future.
Yeah. Echo Brain.
Echo Brain is not the future.
God.
I'm sorry.
But yeah, he
All
left
love to Jason
Metallica to put all of his time into that, didn't he?
Yeah, that's true.
Wise.
He thought it was the future, but turns out it wasn't. 5 months in Poland.
Matt spent 5 months in Poland, so I guess that's where the title came from.
Yeah, I was in school abroad and came back, and I think 3 days later we were on tour. That's great.
Yeah.
5 months away, and then 3 days later, play your drums on tour. One of the many great decisions that we made when we were young.
Yeah.
But another one of those instrumentals that was kind of made up on the spot, and we're like, let's play it live. And I think we played it at remember that Electric Wizard arcade place on the Strip in Knoxville?
Yeah, is that what that was called?
There? Yeah, which another great band. We tried to play that, and it was just a total disaster.
Yeah.
But it was so loud, it didn't matter.
Right.
Yeah.
Nice.
I think that was the show where I accidentally stuck my finger into the fuse socket of the high watt head.
Ooh.
Oh God.
Yeah, it was great.
I don't remember that.
Felt I swore up and down that somebody had thrown a basketball at the back of my head. That's how it felt.
Yeah.
From all of your basketball days, you know what that feels like.
Yeah, I mean that was like old hat. In high school. Yeah,
I like how you said the word basketball in that sentence. Oh, your basketball days.
He's jealous.
Like a sense of like judgment and jealousy at the same time. Like he
was just upset because basketball would so often take me away from being serious about the band. So.
It would, because Kip had such a promising career as a basketballer. It competed so much for his time in the band, and we were beginning to wonder what his true passion was.
Yeah, understandable.
But I'd like to think that, Red Scare combined his love of sports and hardcore music.
That's right. Yeah, people are saying this more and more, actually.
It's hard to argue with that.
We should make Red Scare jerseys to sell at the show.
Yeah.
Good. Like House of Pain, they do that.
Yeah. Oh God, you're right. Why did you put them back in my head, man? I haven't thought about House of Pain for 2 decades, and now I'm thinking, is this getting me back for Diarrhea Planet?
Look, I'm not saying one way or the other, but yes.
Did they do the song "Jump Around"?
That was their big hit. Yeah. Yes.
I guess if you're a basketball player, that makes sense.
And Artless White Trash Everywhere suddenly had an anthem. So,
right.
Artless White Trash Anthem. That's worth writing down.
That's good. Yeah,
like
another
that.
freebie. You can. So then we got the live stuff after that. How about the live version of Automated Section? Any notes for that? The
It's faster.
NYU. Thanks. That's
So basically, general production notes for the next 4. It's like messier and faster. And I think Kip would say the same word over and over again. Every single vocal just sounds like an angry kid barking.
Yeah.
I'm not critiquing. I guess think at that point you're like, whatever. I'm just gonna say "What's up, John" over and over again.
Yeah, I did. It was "What's
Seriously,
up, John."
Conan. If you listen to those, you'd be like, yeah, he's pretty much just going over and over again.
squawking like a duck. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's like
bit.
kind of
Let's
like
watch
that. I was listening to a lot of that band at the time that had it was like the black metal band that had the parrot for a singer. So,
Can I tell you, when I first heard that, I laughed for about 10 minutes straight. I was like, that's amazing. Thank you, Internet. You're not just used to radicalize grandma.
That reminds. Speaking of bands with horrible vocalists that I love. Okay, you know that band. You know that band, y'all remember Breadwinner?
Yeah,
of course. Yeah.
Instrumental band.
Yeah,
and then those guys were in a band called Loincloth.
Loincloth, the metal band. Yeah.
Awesome. Have you heard Confessor?
I have not heard Confessor. I've meant to listen to it for years. But
it's Loincloth with vocals. There's a video on YouTube of them playing at like a water park live. And it's the most surreal. It doesn't even look like it's. How could this have happened? It's Loincloth with vocals. It sounds like the guy is singing to a completely different band, like falsetto-y, kind of operatic. Nothing to do with the music. It's absolutely brilliant. And I don't know whether they were joking. Either way, it's incredible. You gotta listen.
Does Breadwinner have people from Honor Roll?
Yeah. Well, Penn Rollins. Rollins, who actually, I don't mean to narc him out, but he actually listens to the show, or at least has listened
cool.
to it.
But I love
he politely declined coming on.
Wasn't there somebody from Helmet in Honor Roll?
An Honor Roll?
Yeah. Am I making that up?
Maybe plausible.
Not. Oh my god! I just lost my train of thought. What was it about?
Anyways,
about Honor Roll. You should have you talked to John Fine yet from Bitch Magnet?
I had John Fine on when the book came out, and that was a long time ago, and I should probably have him on again because it was.
For some reason, I always put those two things in the same category.
Yeah, Fine's great. I kind of informally keep up with him, but I have reason to believe that there may be reason to talk to Mr. John Fine again. That's all I can say.
I think we were actually very, very briefly in that book. Our Canadian border crossing.
Yes, because he did the thing where he had like the different like anecdotes and the different. Yeah. It was a good book. I like the I like the format. Like I like the formatting. Like it was an interesting way to do it. It was like, oh, that's cool. I haven't seen that before.
Yeah, so. I mean, he's just a smart dude all the way around.
Oh, absolutely. He's great.
Yeah,
great player too.
Very funny.
Vineland is a.
Yeah, that was
great band.
Jerry. Yeah,
with Jerry.
Mm-hmm.
So anything else to say about the rest of the live song here? We got a Coda Smoky Mountain High, Post Meridian.
Yeah, those are all faster than the album versions.
Yeah. Fair enough. Okay.
Just kidding, Chuck. Don't skip it.
That is Smoky Mountain High.
We did it.
We did it, everybody.
Holy shit, we made it.
All the digressions notwithstanding, Randy Randall's actually watching the movie Rad right now, I'm sure.
Sweet.
During the course of us going through that. No, I appreciate that because, like, if you're going to have some degree of retrospection about your art, you might as well have some retrospection about the art, at least the songs you can remember.
Yeah.
Well, it was a memory jogging experience, so
good.
You're better off for it.
Exactly. Nothing if not a memory jogger. Anything else, fellas? Coming up, we got these shows in September, so plenty of time for everyone to gird their loins for that. And
might be might be an overreaction.
Well, look. Preemptive girding is not the worst thing in the world, all right?
That's true.
That's all I got to say about it. And then Solid Brass Records to get the record. There's theredscare.bandcamp.com for folks to pick it up, right? So
can't believe that was available.
Yeah.
It should be like the Red Scare 15 at Bandcamp.
It's funny. I was really shocked that
my favorite was I saw something 69 420. Whatever the band was, I was like,
I mean, if you're gonna pick a number,
if you're just gonna pick an
14's
arbitrary number,
15's taken. Let's just go straight to 69 twice with the 420.
2 times.
Wow, that's
I was like, this band is made of 14-year-olds. I can guarantee you.
That's gonna be my next email address, Matt. 6969 420 at Yahoo.
That's the funny part
It'd
about
have to
that.
be Hotmail.
It's
Yeah,
not
absolutely.
Hotmail.
You're talking about Hotmail.
Can you still have a Hotmail account?
Yes, I have a Hotmail.
Does that even
account.
exist?
Never.
Do you really?
I will never.
The same one?
I'll never.
How warm is the mail these days? Actually,
It is hot as ever.
is it as warm as the snakes or no?
That's
Oh,
right.
man.
That's right.
I
Let's
was
make
just
that
about to
into
go
another
there.
one
You
of
beat me.
those. Nice. You've really sized Matt up psychologically.
Damn.
Do what I can. Guys, thanks so much for being part of the show and
Man, thanks so much for
coming
having
on
us.
and talking so much about the Red Scare. I think I always thought it was an interesting and cool band. Really digging the reissue. I suggest folks check it out. And
Thanks, man. And hopefully we'll talk again, and we won't have to wait 8 years. So
yeah,
I'll keep in better touch. I'll see
Got
you
it.
at the next Neurosis show.
Oh. Wow. Too
Yikes.
soon. Hashtag
Too
too
soon.
soon. Yeah.
Anyways, it's always a pleasure, man.
Yeah, absolutely. So
Yeah.
last thing, this is the only the only can question that I ever ask, and this is you can choose to interpret it however you like. And we'll go. Well, Kip, you'll go first, then Matt. Why do you do what you do?
I think I knew that was coming, but just for fun. Matt, you should have gone first. No, I mean honestly, like I feel like the main reason to do just to, put it in a better light. I mean, I think that the best part about us still getting to do this, and I mean, I feel really privileged to be able to keep doing it with these guys. Is just to be around each other. I get it.
Sorry, I'm not laughing at you. I had a joke in my head that I'm not going to say.
No, we know the joke you're going at. Let's have it.
What was I going?
I love.
So disruptive.
No, but like it's awesome. It's awesome to get to hang out with Matt and Abby.
There you go. Yes.
And the whole crew.
Yeah, I agree. I was going to say habit because it just seems like this is what we've always done. Like your friends call you up and say, "Hey, you want to play music together that we played 24 years ago?" And I've always answered yes.
There's a historical precedent for this.
I can't tell you how many times I've had a friend I played in a band with like, "Hey, you want to play?" I'm like, "So I have to drive to North Carolina from Baltimore 3 times this?" Yeah, sure, that sounds great. But I think to Kip, the reason I don't know, just to laugh when Kip talks, to be disruptive, just there's something to play my drums really loudly while Abby's tuning. I think there's so much fun immaturity in it that is so lacking in everyday life. But again, that's also out of habit, if this podcast is any evidence.
Yeah. We bring the chaos, baby.
There you go. There you go. So if you want to see some of the chaos coming this September, you better be in those cities, and you better come correct. Come with your quips correct, and if you don't, you will be served. You'll be served. Actually, legal papers. Kip, Matt, thanks so much, man. I appreciate you guys having me on.
Yeah,
Take
thanks,
care.
man.
Cheers. Have a good one.
Take care. There they go. Kip and Matt, Red Scare. Let's listen to one of the tunes on this very excellent compilation. What are we going to listen to? Let's listen to... let's do Crushing Blows. There we go. That's good. We can go ahead and throw that on. And again, the redscare.bandcamp.com. Pick it up. There you go. Crushing Blows. Off of Smoky Mountain High. By a little band called The Red Scare. Featuring my guests, Kip and Matt. The hilarious Kip and Matt from The Red Scare. You can follow that band. They have an Instagram? What am I saying? An Instagram account that is relatively newish. It's Red Scare. The Red Scare with underscores, underscore Knoxville. The Red Scare Knoxville. And yeah, they're great. So if you're around any of those places they're playing, go see it. And if you're not, or even if you are, go to Solid Brass Records and pick up that really awesome discography. It's a lot of care and love that went into it. Hey, name of the show is Conan Neutron's Protonic Reversal. Thank you so very much for listening to it.
We come to the close of our broadcast day.
The show airs Thursdays, 8 Eastern, 7 Central, 6 Mountain, 5 Pacific, streaming live on YouTube and Twitch.
Farewell transmission.
Podcasted later, everywhere, always free, no ads, no sponsors, no kidding.
Signing off.
But if you like the show and you want to get
Mr. and
episodes
Mrs. America, and all the
sooner,
ships at sea.
$1 a month at patreon.com/Protonic Reversal achieves that goal, and it also helps support the show and is deeply appreciated. Always free, though. No ads, no sponsors, no kidding.
50,000 watts of power.
A bunch of good stuff coming up. So stay tuned. They've been real busy with touring and stuff, but it's gonna be a good summer if you like the podcasts. That's all I'm gonna say. Anything else? No, I don't think so. ProtonicReversal.com. Thanks, folks, sharing around, liking, leaving reviews, all that malarkey helps. And stay safe out there.
Hear me now?
And check you later.
Out on Route 128, it's dark and lonely. I got my radio on. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Welcome to my top 10. I'd like to thank our sponsor. But we haven't got a sponsor. Not if you were the last man on Earth. She was prepared to prove it. This one goes out to a special girl. But there is no special girl. It's the end of radio. The last announcer plays the last record. The last what? Leaves the transmitter. Circles the globe in search of a listener. Can you hear me now? really broadcasting if there's no one there to receive? It's the end of radio. As we come to the close of our broadcast day, got my radio